Brad,
Yes, Captain.
after showing that new Star Trek game that came out this week, it seemed only logical to show a proper Star Trek game. Maybe the best Star Trek game
Most logical
of all time.
Captain.
The Pinball machine that is part of the Pinball Arcade, which they've been kind of quietly releasing
Oh my god.
new tables for this thing, you know, 2 a month or so. Yeah, I don't know. We had some people saying like, "Hey, you should check in with kind of some of the stuff they've released." So I figured, you know, why not? I've been buying them all on my iPad, which is what we're playing on here, because that seems to be where the stuff comes out the fastest.
Oh, is that why you prefer the iPad? Not necessarily.
I also think it's actually a really good way to play this
stuff. Is
stuff.
that the best version?
I mean, I'm just like, you can shake the iPad to nudge, and you can, you know, just touch on the screen to flip the flippers. Like, it's actually, you know, it's a good, you know, this perspective, while weird when you are at home watching a video, is actually a pretty good way to play it.
Yeah. See the whole table.
Yeah, yeah. Except that because we are pushing video of this out over HDMI to our capture gear, the frame rate is reduced. So it actually runs. This is an iPad 3.
It's usually pretty smooth. I mean,
it's usually smoother than this.
It doesn't look terrible as it is. Yeah, this.
It is hard to keep track of the ball with some of the frame rate stuff.
The iPad capture stuff is weird. Like sometimes if notifications are happening,
then
it'll drag it down.
Sure.
I found putting it in airplane mode before we go is a good solution.
Oh, really?
Then you don't get
then you don't get anything. Sure.
And it seems to help.
This is a fantastic pinball machine. I think this is a pretty good rendition of it,
too. Is this contemporary with the show?
Like
late 80s, early 90s?
I want to say it came out in the late
90s?
Late period. Like the show may have still been on.
Oh, okay. Show went off in 94.
Yeah, so this would have been... Actually, you know what? I want to say that they probably have...
do you get your...
You get a little bit of, well...
Get your historical info.
Yeah. Table menu, extras. Table history.
Aha!
93. There you go.
Great. Steve Ritchie.
Yep.
I don't even know a lot about pinball, and I know Steve Ritchie.
Yep. So they've got kind of 10 goals per table. I mean, it's you know, similar to how it is on the other platforms, but like the Xbox version hasn't had, you know, proper table updates because the publisher went bankrupt or something. Like, it's just...
Who was the publisher?
Crave? I know they worked with Crave before on their Pinball Hall of Fame stuff, the Far Side guys. So it might have been them. I'm actually not sure. But they ran into problems there. It's been on PS3 and Vita with cross-buy stuff. And that's an okay way to play it, too. The Vita, you can kind of rotate and play and get a similar kind of camera angle.
You need a good tall monitor for these things.
Right. Well, it's not... It's out on Mac, but not PC yet. Like, it just passed Greenlight or something.
Weird. There's a distinct lack of Jean-Luc Picard on this table, I'm afraid
But
to say.
you've got Gorbachev, Santa Claus,
wow.
Pinbot,
okay, never mind.
Dracula, you know, just people that would want a cab.
All the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Of urban transit. It's not Gorbachev, it's Gorby.
It's Gorby, sorry, yeah. They couldn't get the proper Mikhail Gorbachev license, so...
Glasnost, comrade.
Yeah.
Perestroika.
Yes, you know, they got tables from, you know, all eras, really. They've got some even newer stuff than stuff like Next Generation in here.
What's the newest table, to your knowledge, that's actually popped up in this thing? Because, I mean, there are still... Some people might not be aware there are still tables being produced.
Yeah, Stern and Jersey Jack are still out there making pinball machines.
Like, I guess Tron Legacies, probably?
It's up there. They just announced...
The newest I've seen.
They just announced a Metallica machine that is going to be coming pretty soon.
That's timely.
Yeah.
The height of Metallica's popularity.
Yeah, perfect for a pinball. Well, you know, the people that are fans of Metallica can probably afford a limited edition $7,000 pinball machine.
Sure.
Which I think that's, you know, some of that stuff does end up in arcades. But you know, it's increasingly like the home kind of collector market is
really
seeing some of that stuff. Yeah.
Enough people are actually buying those things.
They don't make a ton of them.
Well, yeah.
You know, when you sell them for $7,000, maybe I'm
guess
sure
so.
at some point the business works out. Whitewater, I think, is part of the most recent table pack they have released. And it's just I never saw this table in real life. I'm not really sure.
I love the lo-fi sound samples.
Yep, all this 22 kilohertz stuff because it's a pinball machine and all that stuff was on ROMs. Oops! Oh, blew that.
Are there any good places in the Bay Area that you know of to go see some pinball machines? Like there's that one bar we go to when we go to Seattle PAX that's got that
Shorty's. They have
big ass back room full of machines.
Yeah. Yes, there is a league, a pinball league.
Wow.
I can't remember what it's called. There's like Bay Area something. And I think they get together on a semi-regular basis to play some machines.
And I guess California Extreme's probably got its share of pinball.
It does, yeah. There's also annually there's the Pacific Pinball Expo, around September, a little bit after California Extreme. And that's all pinball. And they go back to the 40s or whatever. It's just super old machines, just mechanical, rarities, and it's interesting to see that stuff.
Huh.
Well, let's bop out of this, kind of go around here. Not going to go through every single table, but kind of give people a sense of where this stuff's been.
Black Knight.
Been going.
Black Knight.
But also Big Shot. I love billiards-themed pinball machines. 8-ball deluxe, that sort of stuff. It gives you there's a logic to it of you got to sink all these balls by hitting all these drop targets. And not sink the ball the way that I just did. I'm
going to say this is one of the older tables.
This is about 6 months old. No, yeah. When did this one come out?
This looks pretty rudimentary.
I guess extras doesn't show unless you're out of a game. So yeah, they've got 5 sets of goals, the standard goals, and then 5 wizard goals for you to complete. On iOS, they've got Game Center support for achievements and stuff like that. Leaderboards through Facebook. 1974, the 2-player version of the 1973 table Hot Shot, which that was going on for a while back in these days. As you would find the same table under different names with slightly different, like, oh, this was the multiplayer version, and we renamed it and put it back out and stuff like that. They need to get Black Knight 2000 in this thing because the music is so incredible. I will play you, my enemy. So you see this has 2 buttons at the bottom here because there were 2 buttons on each side of the cabinet in Black Knight for Magna Save.
How does that work?
Above the inner lanes, you'll see little spots that say Magna Save, and if I hit the button when it's active, which they're not active yet, see if I can save the ball here. So you see the Magna Save when lit areas up there?
Yes.
So those are magnets underneath the playfield, and I can stick the ball there if I can. And I've never been good at doing that.
You have to earn your way to activating those.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh. Yeah.
How do you feel about the ball physics in this one? I know that
I think they're really good.
I know that Zen Pinball has not been your taste in that area.
Yeah, the ball just feels a little light in some of those games. I think the ball movement is good in this. Maybe not right this second because of the frame rate stuff, but. And also playing it on a lesser iOS device, you run into frame rate issues there as well.
Yeah, sure.
So I have my Magna Saves lit. Let's see if I can actually get a ball on one of them. Let's wait till I get out of multi-ball here. All right. Oh, yeah, too fast. You see, it's flashing because I activated it, but yeah.
It's got all the game center and whatnot.
Yep. But then it also has its own kind of internal login stuff for, I believe, cross-platform leaderboards.
Huh, well, that's kind of cool.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think what the newest machine in here is.
I have never heard of any of these.
Yeah, it might be Harley Davidson. That's a stern table. Genie is like one of those 70s double wides. Well, not quite double wides, but wide body machines. Like Superman from Atari was one of those. But look at how wide this thing is. Oh, these double layers of flippers and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, there were, you know, in this era there were a handful of machines that were wide like this, and that kind of became a separate standard for a bit, I think, and then, you know, then eventually everyone just settled on regular ass pinball machines because you could fit more of them per arcade. All right, let's pick this up a little bit here.
You think you'll trade up to this year's iPad?
I don't know.
Maximize your pinball frame rate?
Maybe. I mean, it runs great on this when you're not spitting it out to a TV.
Right.
Cool. So Harley Davidson might actually be the newest one in here.
Live to ride, ride to live.
Yep.
Good words to live
What
by.
he said. Don't argue with the man.
Yep.
Do you think there were arcades for pinball before video games existed? Before
1999.
before the advent of the video arcade? Like,
Yeah.
there were standalone locations just to go play pinball? They weren't just like
They were,
add-ons?
but they were gambling parlors.
Okay.
So that's why pinball was made illegal for a long time because of stuff like that.
Wait.
It got caught up in a lot of pinball was associated with crime, like organized. It's the business comes out of Chicago.
Where did the gambling aspect come in?
I don't know if there's people betting on playing, or
Okay.
if there was or if earlier machines.
Like the tables were involved in the gambling.
Yes.
They weren't just present in places where gambling was taking place. Okay.
It's why if you look at a lot of pinball machines, even into the 80s, the cards on them, the rules cards would say like for amusement purposes only.
Holy shit. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to go read about the illicit history of pinball.
It's crazy. I mean, there are some documentaries that that address pinball in some interesting ways.
Isn't there a pretty recent one on Netflix?
There's a Special When Lit, I think, is the recent.
Is that good? I saw that.
I didn't watch all of it. Parts of it were a little hard to watch, but
Huh.
yeah, it's interesting. But there are still tons of tables. I wish that they would get into this thing. That they have, some stuff that's similar, like kind of from the era that I suspect they'll get to it eventually. Stuff like High Speed and F-14 Tomcat.
I wonder if it's hard to track down the license holders for any of those.
Well, they don't all have licenses associated with them. I mean, Modern Pinball does, and so they've done Kickstarters they did a Kickstarter for Star Trek: The Next Generation. That went poorly, and Twilight Zone. Because they had to come up with additional money to pay license holders, and then those got sold as separate kind of one-off packs that were just that machine. I think because they, whether they had to pay royalties or whatever the business end of it is, but I mean they've shown some amount of willingness to track that stuff down when the tables are worth it, and those are two tables that are totally worth it. They should. Well, whatever. They probably already looked into it. I bet it'd be real difficult, but they should get that Terminator machine. They should get Demolition Man.
Addams Family?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Totally Addams Family.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Well, even the ones that aren't based on like external licenses, just your Black Knights and stuff. Like,
right.
They're still owned by somebody, right? Like,
Yeah, but they're owned by,
permission.
Williams. I mean, they've already have tables from that company in here.
Oh, is it just a case where the table ownership is so centralized at this point?
I believe so. I mean, you look the logos here. It's Williams, which Williams was Midway, So I don't know if that's Warner Brothers that they're dealing with now, but you know, Bally, which is also Midway, but that's got Elvira on it, so maybe that would take a little extra work.
Play Space Shuttle. So it's more like there are only so many people who ever owned.
Yeah, whoever made pinball to begin with. And they don't have any, like Capcom was doing tables for a little bit, Data East did some, Sega did some, so there's some stuff there that, you know, they haven't, I don't think they've broached. So they don't necessarily have relationships with every company, but, you know, they definitely, I mean, they've got the kind of the Bally stuff, the Williams stuff, the Stern stuff, Gottlieb, you know, kind of the major players.
Pinball companies have great names.
They do. But, like, at the same time, you know, they all, you know, most of them, out of necessity, eventually became video arcade manufacturers, you know?
Yeah, sure.
You know, Gottlieb made Qbert.
Right.
Look at that 6 Space Shuttle.
Hey, it's called Space Shuttle.
Yep.
If there wasn't a good Space Shuttle...
there's a pretty good Apollo 13 table.
Okay.
Also, that's not in here, but it is based on the movie.
Based on the movie? Okay.
And it has 13-ball multi-ball.
Jeez.
It's fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
I would love to see that in here. That'd be cool.
That's a lot of balls.
It is a lot of balls.
I wonder if... Like, I would have been surprised to hear that the typical table even had 13 balls in it. Like,
I don't think the typical table did have 13 balls in it.
I would imagine most of these only had like 3 to 5 or something, right?
Yeah. Let's play some Medieval Madness real quick here. I think that might be the last one. You know, we'll do that and then close on Twilight Zone.
Clock is ticking.
Yeah,
after all.
My battery here. Medieval Madness is a super popular late-era pinball machine. This was the machine that has Tina Fey did a voice on it.
What?
Because she was in Chicago at Second City or whatever, and they needed voice actors to do stuff.
That's really weird.
Before she was the Tina Fey.
This also has DCS.
Yeah.
Just like Mortal Kombat 2.
Exactly.
You know it's good.
Theater of Magic came out around the same time as MK3, and it has Mortal Kombat combat codes hidden in it.
What?
If you hold down like the left flipper when starting a game, you can get into, you know, like Mortal Kombat hint mode while you're playing.
Was Ed Boon still working on pinball at that time?
I don't think so.
Maybe he just had friends over there.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's the same company.
Yeah, well, I know, that's what I mean. But,
yeah.
But
so they, you know, they were tying stuff together in all kinds of weird ways. Medieval Madness is pretty awesome. That drawbridge drops, and you gotta basically hit it enough times to break through the gate, and then the castle shakes apart and stuff, and that's pretty well represented in this game. You know, it's maybe not the same as the real thing, but in this day and age, it's as close as most people are going to get. That's the kind of weird part.
Yeah, this thing is pretty cool as like a museum piece.
Yeah, and as digital pinball simulation goes, I think this is one of the better ones. You know, they're pretty faithful, and it plays pretty well.
What's the pricing on all this stuff? Do you buy the base app, or is that
you
free?
Buy the you can buy the base app. I think there's a free version also, and they have like a free table of the month.
Okay.
So every time they put out an update, you can play a different table for free. And then there are free versions of each table that you can get and play up to like a certain score limit. Here, let's see if I can actually activate that.
You know, actually, I'm sitting here holding my iPhone. I could just answer my own question.
But they put out tables. I want to say it's $5 for 2 tables, and then they sell this Pro version.
Yeah, because I saw that
upgrade,
Go Pro.
which is like you can drag the ball around and see all the different stuff, which is kind of interesting. But they shouldn't. Doesn't seem like they should charge more for that.
This is Farsight Studios?
Yeah.
Okay, so the basic pinball arcade is 99 cents.
Digital pinball selected
is what this says.
Okay, so I don't actually want digital pinball. I want to hold the right flipper, I think. There we go. Mortal Kombat 3 hints enabled. Spell theater reveal hints.
Wow. And then, so once you buy this app, how much are the tables?
I think I want to say it's $5 for a set of 2.
Are they like paired up, or you pick 2?
Yes, they're paired up. So it'd be like table pack 13 is these 2 tables. And, you can, I believe, choose to buy the tables individually, but it's at some point it's, you know, that's where the deal makes sense. I think is, you know, just get them both. And I think they sell it slightly differently on other platforms too. So it's you know, depending on which platform you're looking at. This thing's on Android. This thing's everywhere. You know, the availability is slightly different. I know on Sony platforms it's different. But yeah, that Pro stuff seems silly for what you get. Like them charging $3 extra for it. Just I don't. It doesn't. Like if it was one upgrade where it's like, here's Pro mode for all tables or something like that. Like I guess I can see that making sense, but it doesn't. It's weird. Oh, yeah. This one also has a magnet there. Bad lot of good it did me. All right, let's see a little Twilight Zone, and then break out of here. Or is it not showing up because of... This is the other part that totally sucks.
Yeah. That sounds like Twilight Zone.
Is, they did this one through a Kickstarter, and I paid to get it through Kickstarter. And now it's like that's tied to some login.
Oh, weird.
That it just...
Say yes.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So there's a whole login and password which I don't remember or anything like that to get access to it. And every time they upgrade it, I have to go through this arcane process of like, okay, say no to the Facebook thing when you log in, because then that'll screw up the whether you have access to Twilight Zone or not. It's just
I just lost all interest in this app.
It's well, I mean, the Kickstarter's already done, so you know you wouldn't have that problem. But as someone who did contribute to that, I will say I'm a little definitely don't know that I would contribute to any further Kickstarter stuff they would do with the way that it surfaces in the app. But for other platforms, they just send you codes for like if you want the PS3 version or something. So that's not an issue on other platforms, but it is here.
Great. Play some pinball.
Thanks, Brad.
Yep.
See ya.